Let's send it up to George Phillips and bring out Zack Grossman and Devonte Smith.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next bout of the evening is scheduled for three-minute rounds and takes place in the 155-pound weight division. This bout is being brought to you by the Unseen Armada. Introducing your combatants. First, fighting out of the blue corner, please welcome Devonte Smith.
Devonte Smith from Evolve MMA, Medina, Ohio, training partner of my broadcast partner tonight, the Coyote.
That makes you guys Eskimo partners, I believe.
Absolutely. And there he is, also known as Johnny Cage. He's confident, is he not, Coyote?
He is full of swagger from the moment he wakes up to the moment the rest of the world goes to bed. Even when you're sleeping, Devonte Smith is taking selfies of his abs and lifting weights to really be the monster that he thinks he is.
Well, he's came to Evolve about a year ago. This is his first fight under that coaching staff, Dave, and he feels very confident that this was a good move for his career.
Yeah, you know what? I did a breakdown for this fight, and I said maybe he's very explosive, but puts himself into a lot of 50-50 positions and scrambles. And he said, I think he said that the biggest thing with this camp that's changed in his game is everything. He's a different fighter, a different guy than the last time we saw him in the cage. I'm excited to see what he has to offer here tonight.
Some fighters get tense before fights, some fighters get nervous, and they become unlike themselves. That man we're looking at is not one of them. Cool as a cucumber, of course, good friends with Rel Hodge and named Johnny Cage.
Absolutely. And it's almost like you guys are at Evolve. I mean, you got him described to a T, and is very much a Leo here. Loves attention.
And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, please welcome Zack Grossman.
Zack Grossman, Renzo Gracie in Pittsburgh, PA, comes in with a 3-2 record. David Grossman is known as an all-around fighter. Really feels like he's putting it all together for this fight.
Yeah, Grossman, like we said, he has shown in his last two fights he's actually won both of his fights with striking, even though he comes from a grappling camp at the Renzo Gracie Pittsburgh school.
Kyle, we look at the tail of the tape. What stands out to you about this fight?
Mainly, I would have to say the height disadvantage for Devonte Smith. He's giving up 4 inches of height and potentially reach. We don't really know the arm length or leg length of these guys right now, but I mean, it's very evident he's got 4 inches higher to go to get to Grossman's chin.
Of course, Devonte Smith, still just a babe in the sport, only 20 years old, but has as much experience as Grossman.
And I can't speak for Grossman's camp, but I know where Devonte's been training. I know that he puts it all in when he goes to train. He's one of those guys in the gym nobody likes sparring with because he hits so hard. I mean, it's just, he's got some explosive power in both hands, great takedowns, and I'm looking forward to him really exhibiting his athleticism.
Dave, you as you mentioned, Devonte Smith somehow ends up dropping his opponent or slipping, having his opponent slip, or somehow getting on top of his opponent and then brutally finishing him on the ground. We'll see if he has that sort of capability tonight against Zack Grossman as both fighters are in the cage, and we send it up to George Phillips with the introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next bout of the evening is scheduled for three-minute rounds and takes place in the 155-pound weight division. This bout is being brought to you by the Unseen Armada. Your referee in charge of the action is Chip Snyder. Introducing your combatants. First, fighting out of the blue corner, this mixed martial artist stands 5 feet 8 inches tall and weighed in at 154 pounds. 5 MMA bouts, 3 victories against 2 defeats. Representing Evolve MMA, he hails from Medina, Ohio. Please welcome Johnny Cage, Devonte Smith.
Devonte Smith
His
doing the
opponent
same
across
here.
the cage to my right. Fighting out of the red corner, this mixed martial artist stands 6 feet tall and weighed in at 155 pounds. 5 MMA bouts, 3 victories against 2 defeats. Representing Renzo Gracie, he hails from the Steel City of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Please welcome Zack Grossman.
Devonte Smith and Cage doing the same dance he did on the way down, showing he's not nervous at all. Or maybe that's to cover up his nerves.
Devonte Smith, red trunks from Evolve Fight Team. Zack Grossman in the gray shorts from Renzo Gracie. This is a good one. Amateur division, 3 5-minute rounds, lightweight. Fighters touch gloves. It's Devonte Smith takes center cage. Very athletic, faking the front kick.
Oh, wow.
There's a right hand from Devonte.
Great combos. A 1-2 by Devonte, hits in the chin, then follows it up with some knees. Finds himself now underhooked by Grossman against the cage.
One interesting thing, Devonte actually started off that fight exactly how pretty much I've seen a lot of his other fights start off. He's a patient for the first few seconds, and then he throws a big combination there to go in, but wasn't very successful against Grossman there.
And it's not the combination that is concerning to Zack Grossman right now. It's the knee that landed below the waistline, and that one looks like it hurt as the referee steps in.
You know, that's an unfortunate thing, but that does happen, especially when a guy has a propensity to clinch fight, you know, so to speak. When you get up close like that and both guys are throwing knees, the reality of it is you're both exposing your groins. You know, so I really don't need to see the replay. I hope we don't, frankly, but it's just an unfortunate thing that does happen a lot in MMA.
Devonte Cook going over to his corner as we take a look at Grossman in a lot of pain right there. But, you know, John Cook, his corner man, said no, get back over to the neutral corner.
We're actually not allowed to get coaching during injury time. I don't know if our viewers know this, but when there is a neutral break like this in the action, you're not allowed to get coaching.
And as well, Zack Grossman will have up to 5 minutes. That's at his discretion as to whether or not he can continue. He's got 5 minutes to shake it off if that's possible. And a lot of the male listeners out there know it's very difficult sometimes to just shake it off when this happens.
Well, it looks like he's good to go and is attempting to shake it off here. But, I mean, in essence, this is almost like freezing the kicker in football.
Well, we'll be interested to see, you know, if we've seen the refs tonight, the officials tonight, put them back in the position they were in, and it looks like he's going to start a neutral from neutral corners, which may benefit Devonte Smith. As Grossman lands a good outside leg kick, but it's Devonte who answers with the left.
Both these guys have actually touched each other in the chin with aggression and very cleanly, and neither has really shown wear or tear for it yet.
Nice job by Devonte to pummel under to get an underhook, and right away Grossman takes it right back.
We saw Devonte Smith actually smile after that shot landed, and that usually means, yeah, that landed, but it didn't hurt.
We're going to see the power of Devonte Smith here. I think Grossman's going for a ride.
Oh, big dunk.
That's the athleticism there of a guy like Devonte Smith.
Now, understand, too, that this is a very large Grossman coming down from weight class that Devonte just picked up.
Good knee to the body by Devonte Smith. Very explosive, very powerful.
And this is what you have to deal with when you face an athlete of that caliber, and especially being a taller guy in Grossman, you have to kind of think that your hips are in danger.
Good base by Grossman underneath, looking to create some separation. He's trying to get that left leg in between, and he does.
Very good job to get back to a half guard there by Grossman, and now working to a full guard. Beautifully done. Very technical on the ground is Grossman.
Listen, you can't come from a Renzo Gracie fight team and not
Truly
know how to handle yourself on the ground. They'll kick you right out of that gym.
That's a good point, Ryan Kavanaugh.
Grossman
Devonte
will be
Smith
allowed
looking to
back on
posture up
Monday.
here. This is something I've seen in a lot of his video. Get on his knees, or off of his knees, I'm sorry. Posture up and throw big punches.
And there's a right hand that hits Grossman, and another.
And Grossman, I was going to say Grossman's working for that triangle with that wrist control
Devonte.
on the left hand of Smith, but Devonte is just
Man,
throwing.
Big right that misses, and he's putting it together against the cage. Grossman looks for the takedown. Devonte up against the cage, prevents it. That's some fast action there from Devonte Smith.
Devonte is actually looking a little bit tired right now with Grossman grinding on his lungs, and rightfully so. I'd be breathing heavy myself, but Grossman is a Terminator, apparently. He just got hit with some solid shots in the face and is still being the aggressor here, and now takes Smith down for his efforts.
Lands in half guard.
What a tough round to score so far.
This has kind of been Devontae's Achilles heel so far in his career against guys who are good ground grapplers and submission fighters.
Look at how deep Devonte's feet were just caught in the cage, actually, David McKinney, and I thought there could have been injury possibility.
Devonte Smith with a
Great
sweep.
sweep.
And look at him, he's going to go to knee.
Smith now on top. Grossman is starting to look a little discouraged in the bottom, even though he's still fighting. And great job back to guard again in the ground.
It's the raw power and athleticism of Devonte Smith that's frustrating Grossman. I'm sure he's thinking this guy shouldn't be able to sweep me like that. But this is a different type of fighter, Devonte Smith. We're inside the last few seconds of round number one. There's the horn. Devonte Smith ends up on top. You said it, Coyote. Difficult round to score as we get a good look at Devonte Smith. Who did enough to get that round?
I would have to go with Smith. I mean, it is kind of hard when you have an illegal blow that does kind of muddy the water, so to speak. But the reality is he landed the cleaner shots. He did have more takedowns in the round. I mean, we're looking right here. I see ground and pounds his way. You know, I'd have to give him a 10-9 round here. David?
Big punch does not land by Devonte Smith. That, as we see him doing work, Dave.
I think Devonte definitely did land a lot more shots here, as we see Grossman with the takedown attempt here. And this is actually the one that he does. I think he eventually gets this one and puts Devonte on his back. But I still think that round had to go to Devonte Smith based on that big slam and a couple of big shots that he landed.
Well, the sweep, too, that Grossman took him down, but it proved ineffective.
One takedown apiece, the sweep. You know, of course, you mentioned the low blow by Devonte Smith. The ref did not take a point, so that's not going to factor in. And, of course, if you're judging style points, the big slam, Matt Hughes style by Devonte Smith would get it.
Right.
Devonte Smith, Johnny Cage
Smith
in the red trunks.
Smith breathing heavy, though, coming out. Grossman still looks fresh. Oh, big one, too, by Devonte Smith. Grossman firing back. I mean, he's got a solid chin on him.
Trade the outside leg kicks and another by Devonte.
Both men just chopping each other.
Grossman looks a little tentative on the feet here.
He does. And now against the fence again, Devonte's going to try to get that underhook on his right side, and he does. Now sporting double underhooks. We'll look to turn Grossman.
Has the strength to do it again.
Oh, nice little knee bump, takedown.
Very slick.
But now Grossman, look at, doesn't fall into a mount position, but into a butterfly guard. It's kind of hard to sweep or look for a bridge when the cage is right behind you, but he can go laterally left to right.
Well, and in this case, even going to Grossman's right, the cage is there. He's in maybe the worst place to be with your back against the cage in the corner and butterfly guards.
And he does get up to his feet now, blocked a few shots attempted by Devonte Smith, and now is looking to lock up an arm.
And Devonte is looking for a takedown. It might serve him to land some knees there, and he does. Knees to the thigh by Devonte Smith. Wear down the wheels of Zack Grossman.
And I have to think that's a good strategy against a taller fighter. David, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I mean, kind of chop him down. And the other interesting thing here is Devonte kind of has his head a little bit low, maybe just trying to bring Grossman down to his level here.
I was going to mention that his head maybe would have been suspect for guillotine against a jiu-jitsu heavy practitioner in Grossman, but I think the tentative, the hesitation on Grossman now has become evident as Devonte Smith is landing more and more and kind of controlling more and more.
Devonte looking to come out the back door here, and he does turn him against the cage. Great job by Devonte Smith here to once again take control of this fight.
Real solid.
Another big slam by Devonte.
Devonte Smith. The only thing louder than the noise of Grossman's back was the ooh from the crowd. That was a huge slam by Johnny Cage.
I'd have to even say it takes a third to the beating of my heart now, Ryan Cavanaugh. I am about to fall out of my chair here with another one of those. It is showing up in the Richter scale how hard he's slamming him.
That's huge. That's his second one in this fight. What sort of effect does that have on a fighter, Kyle, to get slammed like that from a man who's been slammed like that?
Oh, I have been taken down so many times, Ryan, and it is very disheartening. It's not even so much that it hurts, it's just frustrating.
Oh,
yes, absolutely.
He doesn't have positioning here, though.
Nope, now that he's using it to sweep, though. Now Grossman finds himself on top. But now he's in full guard, and this is trouble for Devonte Smith. Now notice the side it's on, though. Grossman didn't have trouble with the cage in his way to complete the Kimura. Smith still, however, in trouble in full guard, and that is a strange thing.
Yeah, that was a horrible call.
Now that is my teammate, I have to say right here. That was in trouble, and that got stood up. I don't agree with that, not one bit.
And you don't agree with it because of what Grossman was doing, not Devonte Smith, who was a man on top. And they're throwing blows. A right hand from Devonte Smith lands.
Devonte Smith has landed 4 solid crosses on the chin of Grossman, and Grossman still coming forward. Both fighters exchanging heavily.
Final 10 seconds of round number 2.
Yeah, I'm a little bit beside myself here. That was one of the absolute worst stand-ups I've ever seen in my life. And if you see me on Twitter, follow me at MMA McKinney. I have a lot of fun tweets about Chip Snyder there. Chip fight to the death Snyder, one of the worst referees in the sport of MMA. Wow. He needs to be out of there.
Holding nothing back here and really not keeping anything. Oh, wow. We're looking again now at the replays, but we have the fighters in the corners between the rounds here. Grossman looking very tired, very disheartened. As I said, Ryan could be from those takedowns. I still do want to touch on not only the cardio of Smith right now, but that stand-up. That was just incredibly out of place, and I'm not too sure I can agree with that at all.
Big right hand there that staggers Grossman from Devonte Smith. Johnny Cage is absolutely showing his athleticism here. This is at the end of the second round. And then the interesting thing you see here, Grossman still recovering though and getting the fight back to the clinch. And again, that was right after that horrible stand-up from referee Chip Snyder.
I think the Devonte Smith actually looks more fresh after this round than he did round 1.
I would agree with that. Look at he's smiling now. That ugly green mouthpiece.
I
Just
think Chip Snyder actually prides himself on being the worst referee in MMA.
Round 3, we've got Devonte Smith right there in the red, Zack Grossman in the gray, a disgruntled Dave McKinney and Coyote joins me in the broadcast booth, and Devonte again lands leather right off the belt.
I love that Devonte Smith waving on Zack Grossman.
He just waves him in.
Come on, punch me in the face.
Well, I think Devonte just found his range of getting in and out, where he can strike and
I'm
Grossman
ready for
can't.
it.
Now notice he's just that half step back. Besides that heavy leg kick.
Devonte's coming with the big overhand. Oh,
Yep. Now Grossman's timing that right hand now, though. If you notice, every time Devonte goes to throw that cross, Grossman's changing levels, engaging, and then getting him pressed against the fence where Devonte cannot throw those big
That's
punches
an excellent
anymore.
point. Look for Devonte.
nice turn there by Devonte.
Yeah, I almost expected Devonte to push off and release because it seems like he's got an advantage on the feet. Instead, he goes for the body lock takedown where he's had success. This would be 3 rounds in a row with a power slam if he can pull it off.
It just seems that he's taking more damage on the fence than he actually is on the feet. So if I was in his corner right now, I would be screaming to disengage and throw some hands again. I mean, he's clearly landing that 1-2 combination every time he throws it.
And it's created a situation.
Oh,
Nice.
wow, a creative takedown there by Devonte
Smith almost go all the way to a seated position and still able to spin and spin his hips around. Those are some awesome hips for a guy who isn't necessarily a wrestler by trade.
Well, again, that really plays into the athleticism we're talking about. It's a different kind of fighter, and that's exactly why 95% of the population that goes inside that cage is going on their back. Devonte Smith turns into a takedown of his own.
And look for Grossman to get active here, work submissions. We saw him put Devonte in trouble.
Nice shots
There's
there.
Absolutely, Dave. Good shots to the head there by Devonte.
I was thinking Grossman was going to start to wall walk, but then he kind of abandoned that early and decided to turn in, and now has given up the far side half guard.
And you saw Grossman almost baiting Devonte Smith in there to
Oh.
take his back.
Stop.
We have a potential eye poke, or
And referee
was
Chip
that a
Snyder
verbal
calling
attack?
it off. I'm not sure exactly what happened, whether he got poked in the eye.
I think he stopped the fight, though, because Devonte Smith stopped because he was waving his hands. This is going to be interesting, even if
See
he
if
did
we could
get
get a
poked in the
replay
eye.
there.
This is going to be a medical stoppage. We're not sure to what faculty as of yet.
I'm
It's
sure,
either
I'm sure the truck will get us a replay right here and we could see, but I don't know if it's a medical stoppage as much as it is him calling off the fight. This is where it gets tricky, Kyle, because if he didn't see the eye poke, it shouldn't be stopped because Grossman said, I got poked in the
I
eye.
absolutely agree. It's hard to see what happened from the
I
angle
wouldn't
that
be-
we were sitting at, but we're hoping to get a replay here.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was an eye poke if Chip Snyder didn't see it.
Oh, here we go. And now, the fingers are out.
It's the left hand pinky that
Oh,
got in
yeah.
his eye.
You're
The time-
absolutely right.
Time clock was obscuring it. We see the damage there.
Again, once again, Chip Snyder living up to his reputation. A horrible call there.
David McKinney pulling no punches from the broadcast booth here.
I'm not quite sure what the call was. I don't know if they've called it the fight. And now it looks, I see Grossman in the corner almost arguing, saying I got poked in the eye. I think this fight's official. I think it's a ref stoppage TKO in favor of
to be
Devonte
That's exactly
overturned.
what we have.
That's
And it
going to have
is-
to be overturned.
We've got George Phillips in the ring. He's going to clear up the muddy waters for us and give us the official announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time 1 minute, 40 seconds of round number 3. Your winner by TKO due to strikes. And a verbal tap from his opponent, Johnny Cage, Devonte Smith.
Devonte Smith, victorious, albeit controversial, is about to have the post-fight speech here.
He's going to have a word with Dave Click here. We send it up to Dave Click.
All right, I'm here with Devonte Smith from Evolve Fight Team coming out of Ohio, starting to be staples here at Pinnacle Fighting Championships. Heard a lot of good stuff from you from a kind of questionable guy named John Cook, but we'll leave it at that. Told me you were very explosive, which is just what happened. Tell us a little bit about the fight, how you think it went down.
I think it went great, obviously, for me, but I feel bad how it ended. I feel like I had a lot to prove. So.
How did it end for those that didn't see? I mean, it looks like there's a little bit of controversy. What happened?
I guess I was doing ground and pound. As I went up, I guess I poked him in the eye.
Well, I think it's safe to say that up to that point you were dominating the fight. Heck of your debut here at Pinnacle. So I'm going to give you the mic. Thank some people you'd like to thank, and definitely thanks for fighting for Pinnacle. I would say it's safe to say you should probably watch the fight between Fatty Schumann and Eric Bledsoe. You might be in that conversation now, so stick around.
Hello. I want to give everybody a thanks for coming out, showing me support. Mainly I want to give a thanks to my mom, who supported me through everything. She got her hands up. And mainly I want to thank my new gym, Evolve. We got two of the best. We got two of the best coaches, John Cook and Steve Tracy, aka Steve Cancel Christmas. I want to thank all my teammates from Evolve, my brother Jarrell and Kyle, who's doing commentary right now. And thanks for supporting MMA.
Give him a shout out there.
There you go.
Devonte Smith from Evolve, Ohio.
We came here for the Pinnacle FC6 show. It's live on pay-per-view, and we got a little bit of the Devonte Smith, Johnny Cage show. Nice performance. Rule number one, never take the microphone, and he did it, and then he made the cage his stage.
He is on stage wherever he goes, always a performer, always looking to please the public. Johnny Cage, aka Devonte Smith, just, I mean, a personality.